Hi, thank you for your interest in my project. This is Rebecca Scott, and the name of my project is Adversity to Prosperity, or A to P. And here's a little bit something about it. Gang violence is a problem in every major city in the United States, and membership is on the rise. As you can see by the photo above, it's not limited to just men either. This is a picture of a female gang member who calls herself Queen Blood. According to the Department of Justice 2010 National Gang Threat Assessment, there were at least 21,500 gangs and more than 731,000 active gang members. While gangs are less prevalent in the rural areas, in major cities, gang violence is responsible for roughly half of all homicides. Gangs are also becoming more savvy, using computers and other technology to commit crimes. So why do people join gangs? Well, there are many possible reasons for someone to join a gang, but the four primary reasons seem to describe most gang members. 1, poverty. Many gangs exist mainly as money-making enterprises. By committing thefts and dealing drugs, gang members can make relatively large amounts of money, and people who are faced with a lack of money may turn to crime if they cannot earn enough with a legitimate job. This partly explains why gangs exist in poor, rundown areas of cities. However, not everyone who is poor joins a gang, and not every gang member is poor. The number 2 reason is peer pressure. Gang members tend to be young. This is partly because gangs intentionally recruit teens, but it's also because young people are very susceptible to peer pressure. If they live in a gang-dominated area or they go to a school with a strong gang presence, then they might find that many of their friends are joining gangs, and it can be difficult for a teen to understand the harm that joining a gang can bring if he's worried about losing all of his friends. Many teenagers do resist, however, the temptation of gang membership, but for others it is easier to just follow the crowd. Peer pressure is a driving force behind gang membership in affluent areas. Number 3, boredom. With nothing better to do to occupy their time, youth sometimes turn to mischief to entertain themselves. If gangs are already present in the neighborhood, then that can provide an outlet. Alternatively, teens might form their own gangs, and this is why communities have tried to combat gangs by simply giving kids something to do. Dances, sports tournaments, and other youth outreach programs can literally keep kids off the streets. Unfortunately, many youth and even gang experts use boredom as an excuse. Authors about articles on gang violence often write something like, well, there's nothing else to do where they live. But indeed, youth sports programs, swimming pools, or even libraries are often in short supply or poor repair in tough urban areas. So for every teenager who gets bored and joins a gang, there are 10 who find positive, productive ways to spend their time. And this is what ATP is all about. However, let's go to the 4th reason, and this is despair. If poverty is indeed a condition, then despair is a state of mind. People who have always lived in poverty, with parents who have always lived in poverty, often see no chances of ever getting a decent job, leaving their poor neighborhood, or getting an education. They are many times victims of police harassment and surrounded by drugs, gangs, and violence. Making matters worse, their parents are often addicts or non-factors in their lives. A neighborhood gang can seem like the only real family they have. Joining a gang gives them a sense of belonging and being a part of something important that they can't get otherwise. In some cases, parents approve of their children joining gangs and may have been a member of the same gang in the past. Drug use is an underlying factor in all of these reasons. Not only does the sale of illegal drugs drive the profits of street gangs, they also create many of the conditions that lead to gang membership. So where am I going with all this? Well, as a once convicted felon who myself was in a gang as a child, I grew up and I turned my life around, and the result is here today. Many years later, I've authored 8 best-selling books, and I created A to P in order to motivate young people to take responsibility for the growth and advancement of their own lives and that of their community. Through partnerships and your kindness, A2P can address the physical, emotional, and spiritual climate of an entire community, which can then translate into a change for the greater good of us all. Please help. It takes a village indeed to raise a child. Even if you cannot donate right now,